Welcome back. I am John P. Today we are joined by none other than Federico from Federico Talks Watches. How are you doing, Fed?
Chilling, man. It's been a while since we shot together.
Yeah, we kind of stagger some of our timing here. You know, we work around the clock almost for DelReyWatch.com, where we buy, sell, and trade watches. So we kind of stagger a lot of our time here in the office. What's new at Delray Watch, Fed?
I mean, inventory's been nuts. The watch market has also been nuts. It's really, really up one day. Then the next day you can't give away a watch, and then the next day you sell half your inventory. It's going well overall, but the market's inconsistent.
It's weird, right? Like the banks crash and then people get scared for a week and then they're still doing poorly, but then they spend again. So
we can't explain it. Explain it, but luckily things are chugging along.
Thank God. Right. So today we're going to be talking about Federico's picks from Watches and Wonders. We're going to give you our thoughts and comments as watch dealers, what we think, and based on a lot of what you've shared in the comments below on previous videos. Before we do that, what's on the wrist today?
I got the Breguet Marine 5817, I believe, the previous generation. You know, one of my longtime loyal watches.
Great watch.
What about you?
Today I've got the Omega Seamaster Aquaterra Marui dial with the rare Japanese department store red dial. It's just a fun watch overall.
It's like the Japanese JCPenney?
I think so. It might be like a little higher end, but...
The Bergdorf Goodman, maybe?
So people from Japan, leave in the comments below kind of the overall feel. So let's jump into it. First watch that we should talk about. What do you choose?
I don't know if it's something we should talk about, but it's my favorite release so far, and that is the Cartier Santos Dumont skeleton with that gorgeous skeleton movement with the flying machine logo on the rotor and that beautiful inlaid bezel. Not a watch for everybody, but boy, what a beautiful release by Cartier.
Yeah, I mean, I love to see them expand that line, of course, with the lacquer bezel that they had the last release cycle. And you see a lot of the limited edition, like the platinum ones, sell for premiums, especially the Dubai exclusive editions. So I like to see them expand that line.
I mean, listen, they're hearkening back to their history. It's the first Santos. It's technically what they claim to be the first wristwatch. And it's their best-selling line, which is, or I don't know about best-selling, but it's almost perpetually sold out, which is weird for a watch at this price point.
Oh, yeah.
Generally, it's, the lower price points sell out immediately. The expensive stuff is hard to get rid of, but these are almost always totally gone.
Very respected among collectors from a brand that's often overlooked.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So what's next?
My next one, I mean, listen, not a personal favorite, but we got to talk about it because it's big news.
Yep.
Rolex released, their first commercially released watch in titanium, which is the new Yachmaster 42. Personally, I don't know why they picked the Yachmaster. I think the Yachmaster, as I said in my video, has always been the gentleman sub, thinner, platinum bezel. I think it would have made more sense in like a 43 millimeter Sea Dweller, but Rolex finally taking some of that Tudor know-how and putting titanium into a normal production sports model.
I love to see titanium. If you watch the channel, you know that I like titanium. Got a lot of titanium watches because it's lighter. When they're making larger watches today, it adds weight. So for me, I like titanium. And if you do want to wear this as a sporting watch, titanium is great for that. You're not bogged down, and it's harder.
It's harder. It's you don't even feel it on your wrist. I just thought it was like a weird model to put titanium into, but Rolex knows better than me.
They're getting crafty with it. It's not the Rolex of yesteryears.
No, it isn't. And I think another one we should talk about, sticking with Rolex, is the Platinum Daytona with the see-through case back.
Oh, yeah.
They finally decorated their movement. They showed it off. But the interesting part is not the Platinum Daytona, which is crazy expensive, but Rolex usually experiments with their precious metals before they release features in stainless steel. So if that follows this trend, we're going to be going platinum with the see-through case back, then gold with the see-through case back, and then who knows, in 4 or 5 years, we could have a steel Daytona with a see-through case back, which is something watch lovers love.
And an oyster flex. They always like to throw that in there.
Oh my God, if I got to hear about an oyster flex one more time, I mean, that is... It's so expensive. I mean,
it's a rubber strap.
It's a rubber strap. Yeah, it's a rubber strap.
That's
and,
Rolex.
And then the last Rolex one I'd like to talk about,
Yeah.
which everybody hated on my last video, but I like it, is the Ball Pit Oyster Perpetual with the colorful ball dial.
Oh, the goofy clown dial
Yeah.
they're calling it or something.
I know it's not for everybody, but I think you agree that's going to sell for many multiples above retail.
Oh yeah, definitely at first. It's kind of cool. It's interesting. It shows that Rolex is no longer just producing, what they want. Because someone probably wants this. Like, who is thinking,
I mean,
someone wants this?
I thought it was pretty cool. Am I going to pay over list? No. Will I ever own one? No, because I won't pay over list. But I actually like it. I do.
It's fun.
Yeah, absolutely. And then moving along.
Tudor.
Oh, yeah. So I just shot a Tudor video.
Black Bay GMT white dial.
The albino GMT, kind of a nod to a vintage Rolex.
The Pan Am GMT Master.
Tudor's had a quiet release. It looks like the Rolex family of companies can't both have exciting releases. They just don't have it in them. But it's just a dial swap, but it's a handsome dial swap. And, I like it, even though nothing special has been done here.
It's fun, right? If you can buy watches from other brands and a bunch of different dial colors, Rolex didn't always do that with their professional lines.
They still don't.
Yeah, but now Tudor you can do that, so that's kind of cool.
Which I think is a thumb up for sure. Then we've had a couple of other strange releases. I mean, listen, Patek Philippe, the new Aquanaut series. I think
you like those?
Listen, I'm not an Aquanaut guy, but they've got new movements, new complications in a new family. I mean, that is real innovation. Is it for me? No, but hey, thumb up for watchmaking.
5 years too late, but they still did it eventually.
They did it eventually. I mean, that's one. And then listen, I know you don't like this one. Jean-Claude Biver finally got his name on a watch. It's a minute repeating tourbillon, but I think it's more to honor his legacy more than anything. No one's actually... It's not meant to sell in mass, but I think Mr. Bivet deserves a watch and, a little golf clap.
I don't know. It's interesting. I mean, he did use all the same fonts and, all the aesthetic of Blancpain, which he's, credited with rebuilding. So I don't know. I mean, it kind of seems like, he took the stylings of a more modern FP Journe and slapped the Blancpain aesthetic on top of it, but hey, it's probably a decent or better watch.
I'm just saying the man deserves a watch with his name on it. And he finally got it, and it is what it is. It's not big news, but 2 thumbs up for Mr. Biver. If you're watching, send me some cheese, because that's what he does in his spare time.
Send me the watch. I don't want the cheese. I want the watch.
I'll take the cheese.
Okay, I'll take the watch.
What about you? I know you like this show.
IWC Ingenieur, the new Ingenieur, I love. It's very much in tune with the the original Genta roots. Though the problem I have with it is it's got basically a 2892 at a movement. I don't think it's a $14,000 watch. It's cool, but I think they're really punching above their class. And I do like IWC.
Did you expect anything different from IWC? This is the company...
Maybe 11,000.
This is a company that takes the base plate of a 7750 and builds crap on top of it, and they're like, in-house movement. There you go.
They do, but they have all the other watches that they've had in modern times have had acceptable price points. This is a whole new step. They're pushing for a higher tier watch here. You can buy the original watch, not the jumbo, but you can buy a watch from that era for less than that price.
I mean, listen, I'm not hating on IWC. I think they've always made some of the best looking watches out there. This is no exception. I just think in the movement department, I mean, not bad, but doesn't excite me. It's too expensive. I agree with you wholeheartedly, but it's a vintage watch lover's wet dream. It's a great re-release.
Genta fanboys, pull out those credit cards. It's time to give IWC a little dough.
For sure. Or just wait till they hit Del Rey watch and hopefully you got a better price. Who knows? Might be above retail. I don't know. I don't think so.
Nah, probably half price in 4 months from now. Check it out, delraywatch.com.
Fair enough.
Any other comments before we close this out?
Watches and Wonders is still going. So maybe a couple more surprises. Also, I'm going to give full disclosure. This year, I haven't studied the releases as much as I was away for a while, and I just got back to the office a couple days ago, swamped by work. But I'm catching up on them, and actually, side note, not about watches. This is a different video we're gonna make. Supposedly, Watches and Wonders is a crap show this year, because SIHH was an industry-only show.
Yeah.
And because the brands want to sell watches to ADs, there's so many people from the public there that ADs are starting to say they will never attend again. Like, there's crowds. Like, they're late to meetings.
They're inviting the ADs as they're cutting out the ADs from their distribution plan. They're opening boutiques. No wonder the ADs don't want to go. It's like they're getting cut out.
They're getting cut out, and on top of that, they got to stand in line with everybody else, even though they're the ones writing the $1 million checks.
And if there's no ADs, there's no discounts from retail, and that is not a good thing for collectors, in my opinion. Yeah, that's another video, guys.
That's a whole other video.
We don't want to get you angry here midweek here. But, guys, we just wanted to give you more of our opinions and thoughts on these watches. I'm sure you've seen all the specs out there. There'll be some links in the description below where you can see the watches we're talking about if you do want the specs, if you haven't seen it already. Don't forget to check out Federico's channel, Federico Talks Watches, delraywatch.com. We'll see you next time. You've been chatting with John P. with Federico Talks Watches.
Take care.